There are some things your dog will never be able to say with words, so instead, they choose to speak through the smallest gestures. Every afternoon, when the door quietly opens, they do not rush toward you. They simply stand still and watch. Their nose gently catches your scent. Their eyes follow every step you take. Then, slowly, they stretch. Just a few brief seconds. Yet those few seconds may be one of the most genuine moments shared between a dog and the person they love. Most of us simply smile and move on. But once you understand the meaning behind that stretch, you begin to realize that you have witnessed something even more beautiful than excitement. It is a feeling of peace. It is trust. It is the moment a small heart no longer has to worry, because the most important person in its world has finally come home. And perhaps after today, every time you see your dog stretching in front of you, you will no longer see it as just another familiar habit. You will see it as a quiet expression of love, spoken without a single word. Part 1. The first thing your dog looks for. The door has just opened. Your dog does not come running. Instead, they stand still and look at you. Not because they are unsure, but as if they are listening for something only they can sense. Their nose gently takes in your scent. Their eyes follow every step you take. For a few seconds, the room is completely quiet. Then, slowly, they stretch. There are days when you come home with a smile, yet your shoulders still carry the weight of burdens no one else can see. You do not say a word. Your dog cannot ask how you are feeling. Even so, they remain right there, patiently waiting just a little longer before walking over to you. What makes this so fascinating is that many studies on animal behavior suggest that dogs do not recognize people by their faces alone. They also combine scent, voice, and body language to understand the emotional state of the person they are bonded with. That may be why the first thing they are searching for is not your smile, but the feeling that you have truly relaxed. Only when your voice becomes softer, when the tension leaves your shoulders, does their tail begin to wag. They walk over and gently lean against your leg, as though every worry has suddenly disappeared. To you, it is simply another afternoon coming home. To your dog, it is the moment their entire world feels safe again. If your dog has ever stood quietly for a few seconds before running over to greet you, leave the number 1 in the comments below, because that gentle stretch is only the very first greeting. What happens next reveals just how deeply your dog trusts you. Part 2. The day your dog stopped preparing to run away. One day, your dog no longer chooses to lie beside the door. Quietly, they move somewhere else, from the corner of the room to the rug in the middle of the house. Then one evening, as you close your book, you suddenly notice the steady sound of gentle breathing at your feet. They are lying close to you, as peacefully as if that place had always belonged to them. No one called them. No one taught them. They simply chose to come closer on their own. What makes this so remarkable is that studies on canine behavior suggest that when dogs feel truly safe, their state of vigilance gradually begins to fade. They no longer feel the need to choose places that allow them to watch every movement or make a quick escape. Instead, they are willing to rest where they feel protected and secure. This is not dependence. It is the result of countless days of being treated with patience and kindness. Some emotional wounds cannot disappear after a single gentle touch, but kindness, repeated day after day, can teach a once frightened heart that there is still a place in this world where it belongs. A heart that has lived in fear will never trust you because of one kind day. It trusts you because you have been gentle in the same way for hundreds of days. If your dog has ever changed their favorite resting place just to be closer to you, leave the number 1 in the comments below. Because when a dog truly feels safe, they begin to express their love in a very special way. And that sign is something most of us overlook without ever realizing it. Part 3. A choice that is never random. The afternoon sunlight stretches across the room. The rug by the window is still the warmest place. The corner of the sofa is still the quietest spot. Yet your dog slowly walks over and curls up at your feet. No one calls them. No one gives a command. It is simply their choice. What makes this so fascinating is that studies on canine behavior suggest that when dogs form a strong emotional bond with someone, they naturally choose to stay close. They do not need food. They do not need rewards. Simply being near the person they trust is enough to make them feel safe. Perhaps that is why the most beautiful moments are often the most ordinary. You are reading a book, and they lie beside you. You are working, and they quietly move closer. You stand up to pour yourself a glass of water, and they silently follow you for a few steps before settling down again. They are not asking for attention. They are not trying to interrupt. They simply want to be sure that the distance between the two of you never becomes too great. For a dog, happiness is not about finding the softest place to rest. Happiness is being wherever the person who brings them peace happens to be. If your dog always chooses to lie beside you whenever you are relaxing, leave the number 1 in the comments below. It may not be just a habit. It may be their quiet way of saying, being close to you is all I need. But there is an even quieter act of love. When your dog truly sees you as family, they begin protecting you in subtle ways that many people never even notice. Part 4. How your dog quietly protects the person they love. You have just stepped out of the room. Only a few seconds later, you hear the familiar sound of paws behind you. Your dog does not rush ahead. They do not cling to you. They simply walk quietly behind you, keeping just enough distance as if they only want to make sure you are safe. What makes this so fascinating is that studies on canine behavior suggest that when dogs develop a deep emotional bond, they naturally check on the location of the person they trust many times throughout the day, even without being called or rewarded. It is part of their instinct to maintain a connection with their family, the way they understand the world around them. Perhaps that is why these little moments happen every single day. You walk to the kitchen for a glass of water, and they quietly follow. You stop by the window, and they stop too. You turn around and smile, and only then does their tail begin to wag before they peacefully settle down again. They are not looking for attention. They simply want to know that you are still there. In a dog's world, knowing where you are is one of the ways their heart finds peace. If your dog quietly follows you from one room to another, leave the number 1 in the comments below. It may not be just a habit. It may be their way of making sure the most important person in their life is safe. But there is an even more touching moment than this. Without anyone teaching them, many dogs naturally place themselves where they believe they can protect you. Why do they do that? The answer may make you appreciate your 4-legged friend even more than you already do. Part 5. The one thing time can never take away. One day, you may notice that your dog no longer rushes to the door. Their steps have become slower. Grey hairs begin to appear throughout their coat. Their eyes are no longer as bright as they once were. Yet every time they hear you coming home, they still do their best to stand up. They still quietly make their way toward you. They still want to be the first one to welcome you home. Time may grow the body old, but it seems unable to diminish a love like this. Research on aging in dogs suggests that as they grow older, they may move more slowly, and their hearing or eyesight may gradually decline. Yet dogs who have shared a deep bond with their people for many years usually keep the same desire to stay close. The way they express that love may become gentler, but the feeling itself remains unchanged. Perhaps that is what touches our hearts the most. It is not that our dogs have grown old. It is that they continue loving us with everything they still have. A dog never counts how many years you have given them. They simply spend every year they have loving you. If your 4-legged friend is growing old alongside you, leave the number 1 in the comments below. And if you can, spend a few extra minutes with them tonight. Because the greatest gift you can ever give a dog is not adding more years to their life. It is filling the years they do have with the quiet certainty that they were deeply loved. And that brings us to the final gift a dog leaves behind for the people they love. A lesson many of us only truly understand when time no longer gives us the chance to go back. Part 6. The final gift. Perhaps the most beautiful thing a dog leaves behind is not the photographs or the memories. It is the quiet way they change who we become. After spending many years with a dog, you grow used to having someone who is always happy to see you come home. Someone who quietly sits beside you when you are exhausted. Someone who always forgives you, even when life becomes busy, and you unknowingly give them less time than they deserve. Then one day, you realize that you have started living a little more slowly. You begin to treasure family meals. You hold the people you love a little longer. You discover that the most valuable things in life are not the things we own, but the people who are always waiting for us to come home. A dog spends an entire lifetime teaching us one simple lesson. Love does not need conditions, and being present is more precious than making promises. If your four-legged friend is somewhere in your home today, walk over to them after this video ends. Gently stroke their head, call their name, stay with them for a few extra minutes. Because for a dog, happiness has never been about living the longest life. Happiness is spending their entire life loving one person with all their heart. If there is only one thing you remember from today's video, let it be this. The deepest love is often found not in the biggest gestures, but in the smallest moments we so easily overlook. A quiet stretch, a patient glance, or a few silent footsteps following behind you are all your dog's way of saying, "I feel safe when I am with you." If your dog has ever done something like this, share your story in the comments below. I would truly love to read it. And if you enjoy stories that help us better understand the heart of a dog, don't forget to subscribe and join us for more videos that explore the remarkable bond between dogs and the people they love.